Hey everybody, this is Oliver Joyce from Whiskey Barrel Studios outside today. Today's video is, I think, probably the most important video that I've ever done. And it's a video that has nothing at all to do with game development or swords and sandals or anything fun for that matter. This is a particularly it's a kind of it's a challenging video to record, but I think it's an important one, and I wanted to share with you what's just happened to me the last week. And I'm sure you can probably guess from the thumbnail. I've been in hospital. Now, if you are a bit squeamish and don't like, blood and guts and anything like that, feel free to just, close the video, go on to the next, and we'll be back with sword and sandals and Gorgon shield and everything like that in the, my next video. But today, I really want to try and get your attention and just make you aware of your own health in a way that maybe I haven't been of my own. So, yeah, feel free to leave now. But for those who've stuck around, so the last month or so, I started noticing blood in my stool when I went to the toilet. I told you this would be, bloody and gory and not in a fun sword and sandalsy way, but just little bits, streaks and things, bits here and there, but consistently. And it got me thinking, this isn't ideal, this isn't great. And, I left it for about a week, see if it went away. Didn't go away. Now, this is where a lot of people, a lot of men especially, just ignore things and hope things do go away. And you ignore something too long, it can become a problem. And I've been made aware of this, and I'll talk a little bit more about this later in the video. But I realized this isn't normal. Blood in your stool is not a normal thing. So I spoke to my wife and said, right, go to the doctor, see what they say. So went to the doctor, took a blood test, and they said, you should go to a colorectal surgeon. So that's basically, someone that will go in there and check things out. So, not something you want to hear, but also very important. And what I didn't realize is that this is something you should probably have done when you're 45 or older. And I'm an old timer. You know how old I am, guys. I'm 45. Sword and Sandals has been around for almost 20 years, and I made that when I was 25. This isn't. This is a grey beard veteran talking to you right here. There's grey in the hair, and I'm nearly as old as Star Wars, which is what, 1977. So where were we? So I booked in, and then within a week I went and saw a specialist, and they said, yep, let's do a colonoscopy, where they take a little device and they look in there. And I realized, that's got to be done. This is one of those things that never sounds fun, and it's like, this is something old people do. At some point, not, I'm middle-aged, but at some point you got to do it at least from a preventative measure. And so I did they said, a few days before, you've got to stop eating anything with red in it, no tomato and that kind of stuff. Then I had to take this thing, it was called Pico Prep. It was like basically a laxative, and just be on a liquid diet for a day, drink this sachet, and then just clear out your innards. Bam, bam, bam. At first, pretty, straightforward. The second one, not so much fun. And by the third one, you're spending most of your time on the toilet, clearing yourself out. It's not fun, I'm not going to lie, but it's not as bad as some people would make it out to be. And you got to just drink plenty of liquids, just or Gatorade, whatever it is, soup, so much chicken soup. Okay, so last Thursday I booked in to have my colonoscopy done, and they did it. And afterwards, and I was sedated, so bam, you're knocked out. Completely passed out, which is good. And then you wake up in recovery, and there's a smiling doctor there saying it's all done. Now, they found 2 polyps, and polyps are, I'm sure they're more medical among you will know much more about this than I do, but they're little sort of growths that can appear in your bowels, and these take a long time to form, and up to 10 years to get big. But if they're there, they do grow, and the bigger they grow, the more the risk of cancer. Now, bowel cancer is and colon cancer is a real thing, and it is a one of the bigger killers, especially among men. I don't know for sure if that's just amongst men or not, but it is something that, if left untreated, a polyp can turn cancerous. That's scary, right? Scary. No one wants to talk about cancer. So you got to get these things done, even if the symptoms are no. I only did it because I had symptoms, the blood in the stool, and the only reason. Otherwise, I might have thought, well, it's something I'll do when I'm 50. Who knows? So they discovered two big ones and a tiny little thing called a ditzel, which is, not so bad. It's a tiny thing, but here's where the story turns bloody and gory, though. So strap yourselves in. Now, I was all good to go, and they, in the waiting room, and had some yogurt and everything, feeling good. Got picked up and came home, and I'm sitting there at home, and I'm playing Elden Ring. This is all a bit of fun to feel, cool. That's all done and dusted. But then something's not right. I felt this rumble. I need to go to the bathroom, and then it's gurgling. And bear in mind, I haven't eaten in a day and a half, nearly 2 days. This blood comes out. And I'm thinking, oh, well, that's not good. Fill the bowl with blood. And bear in mind that even a few drops of blood can cause a bowl to go red. But I thought, oh, maybe that was just, something to do with the surgery, and that's all kind of done and dusted. However, 10 minutes later, back to Elden Ring, doing pretty well, doing a New Game Plus run, because I've already beaten Elden Ring. Great. I digress. This is not an easy thing to talk about, but it's very important. More blood. Back in the toilet, and now I'm getting worried. Still feel fine, still no lightheadedness or anything. And meanwhile, my wife gets a call from the daycare, and then she has to go and pick up my youngest, Charlie, who's not feeling very well. So she's gone with the car, and then 10 minutes later, more blood. This time more blood, full bowl of blood, and I'm thinking, this is not right. Something is amiss with my bowels here. There's something gone bad. So I called up the surgeon and said, this is what's happened. They said, you need to get back to emergency, and we're going to sort this out. So I got to wait for my wife to come home. I'm waiting, and this is probably the time when you call an ambulance. But I waited. Turns out my other boy, Isaac, was also had to be picked up from school because he had a sore throat. So they get home, and it's only been about half an hour or so. But then I'm like, don't get out of the car. We've got to go to hospital. Sorry. And the good news is the hospital's only a 5-minute drive. So we drive to hospital, and in I go. Check in with triage, feeling good, saying this is what's happened, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, we'll get you booked in. I'm sitting down with the doctor, and he says, look, we had to clip up the polyp. When we cut it out, there was a vessel underneath it, and it bled, but we thought that was all done. But it seems like somehow it's, it's come loose, and there's a blood vessel in your bowel streaming blood. I go, oh, okay, this isn't great. And he says, well, we'll get you in straight away. So he walks off, and I'm sitting there, and there's a bathroom. I'm in a little waiting room, little alcove of the emergency department. Still feel okay, but then I go to the bathroom again, and as I'm coming out, I start to feel, whoa, there's this dizziness, and I start to see stars. I never really felt super dizzy like that before, where you start to black out a bit. And I sat down. As I sat down, now I'm really starting to black out. This isn't good. And those moments, I don't know if, I'm sure you've had, your own challenges in life where you think, oh, is this it? It's weird. Things go through your mind. And I really thought, this is it for me. I don't know why. I just thought, you're bleeding heavily from the inside. You don't feel good. You're blacking out. But, the reality is, you're in the best place you can be for such an event. A nurse walks past, and I grab her and I said, look, I'm not feeling good. I can't really see you. My vision is starting to go really dark. I'm barely able to sit. And, the best place to do it, you should lie down, but I wasn't able to. She rushes me into the ED, the emergency department. And as I'm putting on my gown again, and the nurse says, put on your gown, I just fully black out. Bam, whoa, onto the emergency bed. I took out a nurse with me, as you do. Collateral damage, poor thing. And then next thing I see, my full vision is spinning, and there's 3 nurses around me. They get me on an IV drip, and the whole, the room is like this, and I've never felt like this before, blacking in and out. Thankfully, the IV drip worked wonders, and I started to feel okay again. But in that moment, I really thought I was a goner, and of course, I probably wasn't. But I just had a lot of blood loss, a lot more than I, should have. Anyway, they booked me in for another colonoscopy straight away, rushed me through emergency. It felt like, this weird, surreal journey on the, as they're rushing you along and orderlies taking me along. Anaesthetist blacks me out. I'm still trying to sort of make jokes with them, like, here we go again. You sort of go to that gallows humor thing. Things are probably going to be fine, but I don't know anything about this. You hope for the best, but then maybe I black out and that's it, and they can't fix it. Who knows, right? But then that's a good thing with a colonoscopy, though, is you can be sedated, bam, then you're back. And I wake up again an hour and a half later, and the doctor says, all right, we've patched it up with a big, sort of like this jumbo clip, and fingers crossed that's all good. And we've discovered there's another polyp in there. I can't remember if they discovered that before or not. It was all real blur. Anyway, I was able to stay overnight in the hospital, and they monitored me, no further bleeding. I had a nice rest, watched a bit of TV, read a book, played some Nintendo Switch. That was actually a pretty peaceful moment, and no more blood and everything, even though there's nothing, So anyway, I got home, but the doctor says you need to wait until Wednesday, which is today, to see if this polyp that you have in you, which was about 20 millimeters in size or something, so not a giant polyp, but not a small polyp. But they need to work out whether that is cancerous. So off to the lab for that, and then you're waiting from Friday until today for the results. So Saturday and Sunday I could eat again, so I wasn't able to eat from basically Tuesday night until Sunday. So a lot of liquid, and I lost some weight. I don't know if you can tell. Maybe I'm a thin guy anyway, but I've lost more, and I think I barely weigh even, maybe I think I went under 70 kilos, so I lost at least 2 or 3 kilos in weight in what feels like an eternity of a week. But it's a lot of weight to lose and a lot of blood, and I'm feeling good. I'm back on the solids. But yeah, anyway, so there's this moment that kind of goes through your mind of like, well, not even a moment, days and days of it. Like statistically most polyps are going to be benign, but then you think, well, that's not a small polyp. I've never had it checked before. Is that cancerous? Is that malignant? Malignant, that's a horrible word, but is that something to be concerned about? And I was thinking about it. I couldn't sleep the last few nights, fearing the worst. My poor wife was, she's in the medical field, and she was worried too. And I'm just getting back to what I mentioned earlier about you got to get these things checked out. We had a dear friend of ours, a very dear friend of my wife's, who had blood in his stool and didn't get it checked out for a year, and a whole year, and only when it was too late, when it had turned black, and that's when it's really bad, when your stool is black. And when he finally took action, it was too late, and it was stage 4, I think, colon cancer, I believe, or bowel cancer, and it was too late. It was terminal, and he was only in his 30s with a young son and a wife, and he sadly passed away just a month or two, I don't even remember exactly when, it was such a blur, after Isaac was born. And it was just this tragic moment, because his little boy was only a little older than Isaac, and now facing life without his dad, and taken way too soon. And I get it. I get why he didn't do it, because he was afraid, or he thought it would go away. And I that's something we all put off, is just thinking, in Australia especially, there's this attitude of, she'll be right, mate. But often it isn't right. And I did my I tried to get my results this morning, couldn't. I've been thinking about it all day, and called up this afternoon, and I'm okay. Sorry to drag this out for 15 minutes, but I'm okay. The polyp is not malignant, and no sign of cancer. There's still another polyp in there, so I'm not out of the woods completely just yet. I have another colonoscopy coming up in 3 months, and we'll see if that one is, a bad guy. But I'm not afraid of the colonoscopy anymore, and I'm not afraid of the horrible detoxy pico prep thing you have to do beforehand. Um, you're in good hands. Get these things done. So, if you're still with me to this moment, I just want to thank you for hearing the story, and I also just want to say, guys, if you're in your 40s, or if you've got a history of bowel cancer or anything like that, don't be afraid. Just book it in, get it done, um, because this thing is highly preventable and treatable. Polyps are not unusual, and they can be taken out very easily, but if they're left unchecked, they can turn cancerous. So look, if I can even convince one of you, I don't have that many viewers, but even if you or someone that you care about, if you're worried about them, or if anything like blood in the stool, or something doesn't feel right down there, get it checked out. Just go call the doctor. I'm so glad I did, because who knows? The bleeding was something else in the bowels. It turned out it was something else unrelated, but that's been stitched up, and I'm all good. But the polyps, one's gone, the other one will be taken out soon, and I'm now got the green light to eat some healthy. You got to eat healthy, but I can put on a bit of weight again, and have my spaghetti bolognese and all the good things. And it just feels, at least for the first time in the last week and longer, I just feel this great weight off my shoulders. And it's only when you're sort of faced with these moments of levity, where you realize you're not a young man anymore, and you're not invulnerable, you're not immortal. For so long you feel like you are, and I still feel like I can do just about everything that I could do when I was younger. I can't slam dunk anymore. When I was young, I could. I was pretty good at basketball, but no longer. Aside from that, I still feel really good physically and mentally, and honestly, life has never been better. I'm doing what I love in the game development. I have a beautiful wife and two gorgeous kids who I love more than life itself, and I want to keep that going, and I want to be here for the long run. I want to watch them grow up and have kids of their own, and be here for that long haul. And that means getting more serious about my own health, getting more regular checkups. I've got to watch my cholesterol, even though I'm a skinny guy. It's high. It's hereditary. It's high. I lost my birth father to I don't know what it was exactly to, but he had high cholesterol. It's hereditary, and there's another whole story behind that. I'll tell you in another video. But you got to take your health seriously, and don't be that sort of stoic, she'll be right attitude. Trust in your doctors and get things checked out where you can, and tell people, share with people your worries, because prevention is better than the cure. It's a cliche, but it is 100% true. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being with me and sharing this journey with me today, and we'll be back with more Gorgon Shield and Swords and Sandals and the rest in a future video. From me to you, I wish you long life and good health. Onwards and upwards, my friend, and bye for now.